In the Black American reality, the people are presented with representations of real-life kings and queens through the medium of the Black Research Institute, BRI. These are their stories.
Welcome everybody to the BRI, which is the Black Research Institute. My name is Negus Denoris Wilson, and as I do always, welcome everybody to the BRI, which is the Black Research Institute, and I limit it to Sky. See, I try to merge entertainment with information, and the icing on the cake is the dope conversation. Ain't no time for the faking, the baiting, or the hating. I'm trying to hip you all to the moves they be making. They all struggle, but still find a way to make a way. Fight back, count, stack, stay black all day. So I seek to supply you all with inspiration to remedy our present situation by showing you examples of Black loyalty, and you never have to question the Black royalty. We're moving forward with the strength that's supremely kinetic. We're confident, we're Black, we're unapologetic. Instilling self-love is what really we hope. No doubt about it, Black people, we dope. No doubt about it, we dope, and tonight is no exception. Tonight, I get to interview a young man, that I watched grow up into the man that he is today. And I'll be the first to say that I'm not surprised, right? Like it's not like a, wow moment. Like his trajectory was already set in stone when he was younger. So that's just the type of brother he is. So we're gonna run a secondary interview, man, and I'm anxious for y'all to meet my little brother, and for y'all to get a glimpse of the mind that he is. So we're gonna run this secondary interview, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna introduce tonight's guest. All right, peace.
What's good, everybody? It's your girl Masterpiece, and you can follow me on Facebook. No, that sounded weird. What's good, everybody? I am Masterpiece, and you can follow me on Facebook or Instagram, Masterpiece Poet. But right now, you're tuned in to the BRI, Black Research Institute, with niggas. Niggas? How you want to say niggas? Is it niggas? Niggas? What's good, everybody? It's your girl Masterpiece, and you can follow me on Facebook or Instagram. That's Masterpiece Poet. But right now, you are tuned in to the BRI, Black Research Institute, with niggas Denoris Wilson. Tune in.
What up? What up? This Chef Jaron Weber from the What It Do food truck. You on live on the BRI right now with the niggas, Denoris Wilson. And when you get a chance, come on by the What It Do food truck. And I promise you, we gonna grab your taste buds and we not gonna let go. Peace.
Okay, and we back, and tonight's guest is none other than a personal friend of mine. And when I say personal friend, I mean a real personal friend. Younger than me, but wiser than me, in my opinion. So without further ado, man, I'd like to introduce you to my brother, my little brother, my little big brother now, Dr. Richard Lewis.
Hey, how you doing,
What's up,
bro?
bro? Hold on, I gotta give you your flowers, little bro.
I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate it.
I gotta give you your flowers, man. How you been, man?
I'm good, bro. I think, gosh, it was about a year ago when we first talked about doing the interview, right? And I
Right,
said, man, give me time to do this.
right,
as
right.
soon as I get done, I promise you. And I'm proud of you because I was looking at the commercials and everything, and this is growing. And you've been in business now for some time, and it inspires me to see you still being able to push it. Because I read your post, and one of the things you said was to be a business owner and have to be putting up with the long nights, having to get deadlines in, and just so no, my hat's off to you, bro, for real.
Well, you know what? Before we get in the interview, it's customary that I ask you 2 questions. So, are you ready?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, the first question is, are you being safe?
Bro, I tell you what. One of the funniest things is I always say I'm being safe. Be safe.
Okay.
I always tell my daughter to make wise decisions, be safe, and make wise decisions.
Right.
Because
Okay.
sometimes it ends up to us.
Okay. So you're safe now. The next question is, are you happy?
Oh yeah, bruh. I am. How can I put it? I'm blessed, bruh.
Okay.
Just got a clean bill of health, and it was something that took one of our brothers out some years ago. That
Right.
We don't always check on our health like we should. So I'm blessed, man. Happy.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, you know, I'm kind of familiar with you. You know what I mean? So, but a lot of people who are listening aren't, right? Well, no, let's not say that because you know the whole EV at some point they're gonna sneak in and check what's going on.
That's
So,
good. That's good.
right. So I'm
Love my
not gonna
neighborhood.
say so,
Mhm.
but what I'm saying is I know you, right? Like I know you. But give the people a small, not history lesson, but a synopsis of Rick. You know what I mean?
Well, what's really funny is that when I came through Kings Mountain, and it was funny when you said that you saw it, and it reminded me of something I read. I was in the book of Samuel. I'm reading the Bible through. You read from beginning to end. Somebody told me to do that, and so I'm on my second go around. And it was when Samuel said to Saul, he said, "When you were insignificant in your own eyes, God put you over all of Israel." So when I hear you, I mean, like, come on, man, you neighborhood. So when I hear you say these things, when I hear other brothers say this, when I hear other people from Kings Mountain, because they'll tell you that you never get honor in your hometown. And just to hear people say, man, just really encouraging me. So it allows me to, first of all, relax so much to where I don't push myself so hard. One, because you're only in competition with yourself. If you're not pissed off with yourself for not moving forward fast enough, nobody else matters because you know all of the ins and outs of what's going on with you. So just to know that there's people encouraging me and pushing me forward, bro, yeah, it means a lot. So growing up, never thought about going to school. When a guidance counselor asked me why was I going into the Navy, because you did, my brother did, and I said that's what people from my neighborhood do to get away from y'all.
Right, right.
And she didn't even hear me. And Mama said, "That's God closing somebody's ears to your foolishness."
Right.
And he filled out my application for Western Carolina. And when I went back the next day, I said, "I heard there's these schools where all the majority of the students are black. You got anything about those schools?" Man, she threw the book at me. And
Right.
here's the catch now. The focus of my business is that when you have families like that, then you have a guidance counselor who ain't helping you. You need to have somebody who knows how to navigate that and help you. Oh, they won't help you. I got you. Don't worry about it. But I wound up going to Western and getting a degree basically because I wanted a job. And I fell into education because I wanted to mentor. I feel like that's what God wanted me to do. Taught in Gaston County for some years. Wanted to go to law school because I've always had this social justice piece and got up here in the area I live now in Central North Carolina. And I was working at Time Warner Cable. And when I say I was working, I would wake up tired and didn't understand why I was tired. And I was tired because I was going to work. And when I was teaching, when I was educating the youth, I didn't feel like that was work. And I walked into a school building, said, you can only grow where you're planted, because I felt the weight come off my shoulders. And so then I got my master's, found out that I did not want to test kids for a living, went into a different direction in education, got into some programming, got back to development programs to help people, especially during the pandemic, partnered with a church when all the buildings in our district closed, was able to partner with a local church. And that gave me my impetus to finish my doc and start thinking about doing something that was more me and less impacted by others.
Okay, so I introduce you as Dr. Richard Lewis, right? And I'm not saying that, you know, the majority of people in our community are ignorant. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is
for real.
when they hear doctor, they assume that it has something to do with health. Right? Like, you know, like they, for the most part, if they hear someone as a doctor, or has a PhD, they feel like they are, you know, brain surgeon or whatever, right? So what was the motivation for you in going to get your doctorate, and explain to people exactly what your doctorate, what field is in?
I have a doctorate in educational leadership, so it's technically an EDD. But when the brother who was beside me was graduating with his PhD, he was like, well, you know, it's more research based and they work more in the college. The EDDs are more practitioners. But what it is basically you're an expert because you have to do research. You have to become an expert on a topic. My topic was the interactions of staff with students in the after school program. And that was because you got to look at after school staff. They're non-evaluatory and they're non-familial adults. When I say non-evaluatory, teachers give a grade. So a kid is automatically looking at that teacher saying, well, you want me to make this grade, so that's something you want. And if you're a family member, you can actually put hands on that kid. You know, you can punish that child. You can put punishments on them. So when they build a bond with after school staff, it's because that person cares about them and they know that person genuinely wants to spend time with them simply because they want to spend time with them. And it builds this relationship that really I find lacking in a lot of school settings because, like I said, I went to education to mentor. I've seen teachers who have better pedagogy, that they know all of these different ways to do stuff. They got all kind of fancy ways to teach. But mine was based on the relationships. And when I formed those relationships with children, it was meant to help them be better people. So when they left me equipped to be a better human being. You may not be a super mathematician leaving my classroom, but I promise you, you were taught right from wrong and how to treat people, how to be respectful. And also, I used to be honest enough with them to tell them I'm a human being. So don't think you can just treat me any kind of way and I'm just going to be cool with it. There's going to be a problem with that.
Well, you know, the way that I feel like the way that, you know, we are conditioning kids to learn now, they function more like machines, right? Like it's like it's no research involved in a lot of stuff. It's just memorization, right? It's a lot of memorizing things. The way that I see us going. You're more test reliant. Like you're more reliant on test scores than actually. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just
But see, and when I left the school building for a second, I told the guy, I said, I don't want to test kids for a living. And I quote, well, that's the gig. I said, not for me. And see, God has always blessed me to have the courage to walk away. I'm not gonna, I ain't gonna do too much tongue wrestling with you.
Right.
If it's not going in the direction it needs to go, and we're not being heard, I don't want to be combative. It doesn't have to be that way. We just need to go in different directions. Our visions don't align, and you shouldn't be with anyone who's not yoked right there beside you going in the same direction. Because if we going in two different directions, imagine two oxen going in different directions. You ain't going anywhere, or you're going around in circles.
Well, you know what, doctor? I gotta give you your props, man. I like that, man. I know somebody who's a doctor, so that's cool with me. I like that. But anyway, so it's crazy when you say that you got to be equally yoked, right? But just the way the whole system is set up, it individualizes everyone, right? Everyone is an individual, and it doesn't really function as like a unit anymore because everyone is individual. Everyone is I. So go ahead. I'm listening.
Well, let's think about your favorite teacher or someone who had an impact on your life. When I used to get volunteers from Chapel Hill, from UNC Chapel Hill, I would ask those kids, I said, close your eyes. I said, now imagine an adult who made you angry. And you'll see all the eyes that they give. Then I said, okay, now imagine an adult who was not related to you, who didn't get paid to spend time with you, but had a positive influence on you. And immediately you saw their faces brighten. And I would tell them, I said, now open your eyes. I said, that can be you. And so many of them then realized why they were doing it. I think sometimes when we talk about so individualized, I think that you do have to individualize the education of a child. But, they have this whole setup that they want the kids to know this, that, and the third. And like you said, it's not hard to teach it. What I encourage students to do is to embrace the gaining of knowledge, getting smarter, knowing something, because I don't expect you to be a certain grade level. I like for you to be smarter when you leave my classroom, and I'll do everything I can to help you, and I embrace you where you are. There's actually a theory for that. It's called positive youth development, that you take a kid where they are and you base their improvement off of where they started. You don't say, well, student A is here and student B is here. So if student A does not get as high as student B and student B is up here, they're a failure. No. If both of you grow.
Right. Like you said something. You said we need to you do believe in individualizing education. And I believe in that too. I believe in individualizing education. When I say that we are individualizing, what we're being individualized now is in training. Like we're being trained.
Indoctrinated.
Right. It's a training. And to me, I understand that all the intricacies that go along with it, right? Like as far as you need people in society that's gonna work certain level of jobs. Like you need those people. Everyone can't be geniuses. Everyone can't be smart. I totally understand that. But when I look at like you and I, we grew up. We didn't have computers. We had the Encyclopedia Britannica. Right? That's what we had. So even in us having to go get the book out of our bookcase or from the library, that meant we worked for it. There was some effort put into finding the information that we needed to find. There was some effort into it. It's not keystrokes. It's not saying, "Hey Siri, what's this?" It's some real effort. And I think that's what education is supposed to be. It's not supposed to give you the answers. It's supposed to show you how to get the answers.
One thing you had said earlier, and I have to tell you, man, that I think that where we sometimes, and I'm saying this as human beings, not just as a group of people or race or what have you, as human beings, sometimes we underestimate the power of our interactions with each other. I remember I used to get in trouble in high school, and the custodian at the high school was Mr. A.J. McClain. And he was also a deacon at my church. So Mr. McClain, I would have to mop the cafeteria in Kings Mountain High with Mr. McClain. And they thought that I was scared. Well, I didn't want my mom to find out when I was doing dirt, but they would say, "We'll give you an option. We'll call your mom, or you can clean with Mr. McClain." I said, "I'll clean with Mr. McClain." "Oh, you're really scared of your mom?" What they didn't realize was that I was getting one-on-one time with a brilliant man. And that man taught me things that I would never have learned in a classroom. If you think about your favorite teacher, it really wasn't the subject they taught you. It was what they taught you as a human being, how they made you feel, how, that teacher may have, like Miss Wells. She did the speech in drama class, and she would hit this bell. Boy, I used to hate that darn bell, but it kept me from saying every time you said she hit that darn bell, and it made me a better speaker. So I can't. I think that everyone has something to teach. Heck, a guy was talking to some students the other day, and he had a landscaping business. Country is a screen door, but the advice he gave was so wise. And I sat there and I saw him and I said, thank you so much. I really learned a lot from you. And he happened to look above my door and he said, "What you learned from me?" I said, "Man, I learned from everybody because I'm paying attention and I'm trying to see what it is that I can learn from everybody." So,
well, you know me, you watch me. I'm a creative, and if I get my mind set to something, I'm gonna, same as you. If I get my mind set to something, then it's gonna happen, right? Like it's just a matter of time and the amount of effort that I put into it. You know what I mean? Right.
keep poking at it. Keep going.
You just keep poking at it. And speaking of poking at it with your organization.
Whew.
So let's go to your organization. So what is the name of your organization, brother?
Arc of Resources. Advocacy requires knowledge of resources. And what that means is basically I've always been somebody that knows somebody that can get you whatever you was looking for. And I've always been able to connect people because I'll know something. Somebody said, "Man, I'm looking for so-and-so." "Oh, you know what? So-and-so doing it." And I started realizing, especially when I was doing outreach, that there was all these people doing things, but they weren't being effective because they didn't know who to get to. The people didn't know where to go. They didn't have a foot in with somebody who could tell the people who need to know, take advantage of it. And so I said, you know what? There's got to be a way to connect people and be a resource so that they know that there's something here. Like, I know you said you want to do this. Well, this is right here. You try to connect them. And so my year was spent because I found, like, as soon as I resigned, I found it. I was sitting in the barbershop watching my barber and watching the other barbers move about. And I said, these dudes don't look for nobody to pay their insurance, to pay their bills. They go get it. I said, this is the epitome of a business. And so my barber said, man, yeah, I can see you doing that, man. And I was like, well, let's see what happens. So I went home that Sunday and the name was given to me. God blessed me with the name, Arc of Resources. And it was advocacy requires knowledge of resources. And there's so many layers into the choice of that name. Founded the LLC and said, okay, I'm going to take a year to explore what I want to do because I was still working on my doctorate. So you remember I was just, working on creating a website, it was all up here, but I was putting it in writing and I was putting it out as well. I just wasn't telling a lot of people. I was just like, there it is, but I ain't doing nothing with it yet. And I promised myself, I said, after the year was up, I was going to. So February made it a year. I'm using my old laptop now, but I've redone all of my office equipment, actually changing out all the desks, getting the office is actually in flux now because I'm about to go get it. Already working with some clients on getting their initiatives going. And I'll tell anybody, if you got an idea and you got something you want to do, I am willing to talk to you for free. I don't mind, it's just a little bit of time. But if there's a way that we can figure out how to get your thing financed, then you may have to do some work. You can't just think that if people throw money at you. No, there's guidelines you got to follow. But that's my job to help you navigate that.
Well, the BRI started sort of in the same capacity in that doing graphic designs, man, I've ran into a lot of people doing a lot of different things, right? And one day I looked up and I was like, I've been dealing with certain people 15, 20 years almost, right? But they're in the same place, right? They're in the same place. It's no fault of theirs, because that place is a real comfortable place. They're making pretty good money in that place. You know what I mean? But they in the same place, right? So if they're in the same place, then eventually our relationship, business wise, is sort of right there at the same place too. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, why are they at the same place? It's because whatever ability that they have taken themselves as far as they could go. Right? That's the furthest they can go by themselves. Whatever ability they have, they need someone to connect them so they can go to the next level. Because everyone has their limit. Everyone has a limit. But just because that's your limit doesn't mean it's the end of your potential. Right. It's not the end of your potential. It may be the end of your limit as far as the knowledge that you possess to get you here. But that doesn't mean you by yourself. But that doesn't mean you can't be here. So I was like, okay, so how do I do it? And you said, well, let me start getting resources together. Right? Let me start getting resources together. Because when you hit the door, I know you wanted to hit the ground like up and running and able to help somebody from the first call. Right? I totally understand that. From the first call, you want to be like boom. And I'm gonna tell you, brother, what you're doing. When you get ready and you do your commercial, I will run it every week on the BRI just because I know it's a thing that we as a community could benefit from. Right? I tell people all the time is that you can be the best barbershop, you can be the best salon, you can be the best mechanic, you can be the best whatever it is that you are. But if don't nobody know about you, it don't mean nothing.
You just local.
It doesn't mean and sometimes as being a minority, no, not a minority, as being a black business owner, a black person with a business, we tend to micromanage everything. Like we tend to we the CEO, we the CFO, with a graphic designer, with a marketing specialist, with a secretary, we everything because we're micromanaging. And that's why you see a lot of small businesses that's one or two people. Black businesses. That's just one or two people. One or two people. Because we don't have people like you to go to and say, well, look, man, why don't you connect with these people over here? And then y'all can do something different.
Or do it or collaborate, because so many times you see this a desire for someone to. I literally had someone say to me one time, there was a flyer of some sort, and they mentioned, I don't see my name on the flyer. And the person on my staff, because my program was paying for it, the person on my staff said, your name ain't on there. I said, I don't want my name on there. When I was talking to one of my clients, and he said, yeah, man, you can do. I said, I'd rather not be there. I'd rather, if you want me to write out, whatever for you to help you, but I like staying back. That will allow me the freedom I need. I just ain't got time to play the politics or game, and that's something that just doesn't interest me.
You want to be the hand, the invisible hand. Yeah. In fact, you.
What, like, the thing is seriously, I don't want to be out there, bro.
Right.
I love relaxing. I love
Right.
just things being cool.
Hey,
And
honestly though, Rick, growing up, you never hardly came outside anyway, though. So no, don't try it. Don't
nah, now hold on. Y'all had about like 5 or 6 years on me. So
Yeah.
when we was outside, like we were playing, like I think y'all were gone, man. I remember we would go up there and watch y'all play ball. But we were little dudes, and y'all weren't gonna let us play.
Yeah.
I mean, like there was some little dudes. I was not that good, so I knew I wouldn't get no run. So
The only one I can think about is what's the name's brother? Rich little brother. Rick at the basketball court. What was his name?
Oh, you talking about DJ?
DJ.
Now, Pete. That's another doctor.
Yeah.
That's our
DJ.
DJ's a doctor. Timmy's a Juris Doctorate. Bruh, like our neighborhood has produced some. Like, and you look at that class of '91. Like we were class of '91. Then you had it was like '91. You had 90. I give it all the way to 90, from 90 to 95. That window of Ebenezer was, man. I'm tell you what, boy. That was a championship run right there, bro. Because a lot of dudes went through there, and we all encouraged each other. We had the benefit of having the most positive hip hop coming out at that time. You had PE, Brand Nubian, all this stuff was coming out, so it was encouraging you to grow. So,
So I want to ask you this, because you're a doctor now, so I can ask you this question. You're a doctor, so okay. So when you're looking at TV, and you see an advertisement, a commercial for a fast food restaurant, right? Would you agree that advertisement is to get you to take some type of action? Right?
That's the only reason I have them.
That's the only reason I have it, for you to get, or cause some type of reaction from you to take an action about, or even put it in your head when you're driving down. Oh, I'm hungry. Let me go pick up something. I remember the sandwich or whatever, right? So in essence, these advertisements are subliminal, right? They're subliminal messaging. whether we look at it like that or not, they don't go. If we see them or we hear them, they don't go anywhere. They're still there. We may not, be thinking about them, but they're there, subliminal.
Okay.
So if we know that marketing and advertisement sends subliminal message, why do you think they allow the tone and the rhetoric of hip hop to just be prevalent?
Well, I mean, now what are you saying? I mean, like
just the way hip hop is represented with the drugs, the pills, the women, the money, just the flatulent. Like, why do you think they allow that to just like it's borderline like not radio friendly at all? So why do you think they allow that? You know what I mean? Like,
I
it's
know
borderline.
exactly what you mean. What's funny is I stopped listening to the radio. Good gracious, I can't remember. I know when I got a car, one of the first things I did was put a tape deck in there.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to listen to the radio. Even now, I stream everything. I don't even have cable, man. I stream everything.
But you are an exception, right? And there are a lot of people like you, right? There are a lot of people like you, but mass media still is king, right? Like, it's still king. So there are a lot of people that stream their music too. I know I do, but mass media is still king. And my question is, if they know that advertisement is geared to do an action, any type of media is geared to make you react or feel a certain way, it has to be, and I'm not calling it a conspiracy, but it has to be a willful act on their part to allow a whole genre of music to just be deplorable.
My wife would agree with you.
You know what I mean?
On that. Oh yeah. I think you had okay. I listen to all types of hip hop, and I think the problem is that I think sometimes the audience is not prepared for what they're about to hear. We were able to see them start putting a label on the music. It didn't always have a label because they didn't have that much cussing. But once I've literally taken CDs back because it didn't have cussing on. And
right.
But I've had the ability to grow to where I don't take it to heart. And I think this was something that I saw Dr. Dre saying in an interview. He said that, I can rap about killing somebody, but I ain't gonna do that. That would be stupid. I'm rich. Why would I go out and kill somebody? But I'll rap about it. And I think we've always tried to dance around that. I know I have, because I love it. I love hip hop. Nothing has the beat, nothing has the versatility. You can hear so much, and I was enjoying your rhyme at the beginning of the show. If you're a fan of hip hop, you listen to someone's rhyme style, their flow, you like everything about them. And I hate that it's become what you were just saying, that it's become the imagery has overpowered the artist. Because
you know what, Rick? What I said was, before, when we were growing up, hip hop, the MCs used to talk about what was going on in the hood, right? Like, they talk about what's going on in the hood. Now the MCs talk about it and make it go on in the hood.
Oh, oh wow!
You understand what I'm saying?
With a group that I've always felt. I've always felt that the people they say, well, those ain't real, whatever. And I'm like, dude, them the ones you need to worry about. Because if that person feels like that I learned how to be a member of this group by what I see on TV, they more rugged than the ones who grew up in it because they trying to validate themselves. I see what you're saying, but
to me, to me, I just look at it like this. As far as being black in America, we haven't gotten a fair shake ever, right? Like ever. So ever. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. We haven't gotten a fair shake ever. That's just the reality of it, right? So if we haven't gotten a fair shake ever, then that means there are systems and this proven that are in place to make sure that we don't get a fair shake ever. Right.
That is my passion, to dismantle those systems, brother. That's my passion.
But the way you dismantle those systems is harder than what you and I could ever imagine, because those systems are embedded into lifestyles, right? Like mindsets, how people think, so now you gotta deprogram to reprogram, right? You gotta deprogram to reprogram. And I guess that's why you went to school all those years to get your doctorate, so you would know how to operate.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That's the big piece, bro. Like, I just got through talking about that piece. That you have to understand that it's the relationship you build with these children. See, that's the thing. I was at work, and there was this lady. She was fussing at this kid, and she called me over there. She was fussing at a black boy, and I came and I stood there, and I didn't say anything. And she thought I was gonna say something to me. I didn't say anything. I just stood there, and when they realized that you might as well be quiet, I escorted him where he needed to go. Didn't say nothing, and went on about my business. I saw him a couple of days later, and I told him, I said, "Do you realize why I didn't say anything to you?" He said, "No." I said, "One, I didn't know you." Then I introduced myself to him. I said, "Two, I stood there to make sure that you did not get railroaded or mistreated in that interaction. I was there to protect you." And I said, "But three," and I said, "This is most important." I said, "I'm always going to be the most respectful person to you first. Now, I'd like for you to reciprocate. If you can't do that, then we'll go, because I'm not going to allow you just to disrespect me. But I think if I come at you with respect first, that you're more likely to respond that way." And that's how we do it, bro. We have to, one by one, bit by bit, child by child, form that relationship. Even if I don't know you, if my interaction with you is that brief, when you interact with me, I pray that when you walk away, you'll be like, "Wow, he didn't make me feel less than," because that's not my place.
And vice versa too. When you walk away from me, I want to feel, "Wow, he didn't make me feel less than." You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. And that's where I think sometimes we forget. We forget that we're dealing with small children, man. We're dealing with the people who, whenever we get too old to function, they're going to be the ones doing the operating. They're going to be the ones doing the teaching. They're going to be the ones building the homes. They're going to be the ones that's our caregivers. And I feel strongly that we have a responsibility as the current adults to make sure we do everything we can to make the best children possible. And if we can't have a hand on it, support the community in doing that, the families, whoever.
You know what, Doctor? As Black Americans, right? We got to understand that we're playing almost 250 years behind. Like we're behind, and not just behind, when I monetarily, right? But behind in understanding how to move about in this Western society, right? You know what I mean? Like for example, when the slaves were freed, they was just freed. They ain't never knew how to pay a bill. They never knew how to, uh, you know, whatever they had to do, get a house or rent. They never had to deal with that stuff, and so they had to learn. And as they learned, they passed on to their kids and their kids and their kids. But remember, you're learning 250, years behind.
In a
So
system that's built to oppress you.
that's built to oppress you, right?
Mhm.
And you're here and you're 43 million strong. When you realize that the system, like when you realize as a collective that the system is built around keeping you down, then you realize, okay, I can't really rely on the system. We can't rely on the system as a whole. We got to rely on our own system.
We need to work together.
We need to work together, right? So when you say, we dealing with these kids, I was talking to someone the other day and I was like, if you're a black man and you was born after 1965, there's an 80% chance that you didn't have a father in your life.
After 65?
After 1965. There's an 80% chance that you didn't have a father like in the house. That's a wild test. That's wild.
In 65?
After 65.
I was
80.
born in 72, bro. So
Your dad was, you know
oh
what I mean?
yeah, man. Pops was great. I love my pops, man. That was a thing.
Thomas Briggs was there, and Bernard was there, and Mr. McLean was there, and Joyce Dean was there, and
We were
Frank.
raised in our village, bro.
Yeah, like so, I think in that neighborhood, I probably was the only one that was there that wasn't living with their dad. Like most people were living with their dad.
Mm-mm.
That
There was others, but the thing was that we were a community, man. So, like, if that man saw you doing something, he would say something to you.
yes, yes,
When I would work on my car, I would raise the hood of my car, and they would come around, and
right.
that's how I learned. Like, I remember Timmy McLean's father. I had put a dent in my car, and he used the come along that Paul McLean let us borrow to pull the dent out. Buck McLean, he had helped me put the bucket seats in my car that I took from my homeboy's car. That it's community, bro. That's the piece. Working together. Someone reached out to me yesterday and said, "Can my niece talk to you?" Yes, by all means. Here's the window. Give me a call. And when I got off the phone with her, I told her, I said, my only request for you is that when you have an opportunity to help somebody, you help them. Do the same thing. That's it, bro.
Pass it forward.
One by one, man. That's
one
it.
by one. One by one. One by one. But you know what? Your daughter has been on here. She's been going.
Oh, word.
Yeah, she's there.
See. Yeah.
But anyway, man, so listen, Rick. When I think it had to be 10 years ago when I last saw you. No, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago when you and your brother came down the house, walked down the house. Yeah. So
that was
before
fun.
yeah, it's about 5. No, it was more than 5. Maybe I've been married 6 years.
My pops died about 5 years ago.
So it's been about 7 years ago because your dad was still up there. So been about 7. But before then, it was almost another 7 when we got together over at Snaps in Gastonia at that little restaurant. Remember he had something at the restaurant?
He did. The Asian restaurant.
Yeah.
I got that picture, man. The black and white function.
Yeah. So
You had on the white hat. I remember that, man.
yeah. So when I see you
Mhm.
though, when I see you, right, I don't care how big you are, right? I don't care how big you are. I don't care how tall you are. I don't care like how much muscle or weight you got, man. Like I always just have the unction to be like, "What's up, little Rick?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, and one time it caught me. I don't know what was going on that time. It caught me wrong, but you want to know something? You, Maury, Greg, you want to know something? The problem y'all had, y'all ran my big brother, and so y'all were like that Tony's little brother, and so it was always.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
and I tell people all the time, I was like, man, being a little brother ain't always cracked up to be. But what it did do is when you get older, it gives you a circle of friends that, like most of my homeboys are older than I am, man. And
Right,
that came
right,
from falling behind
right.
older dudes, just always being around them, man. But nah, y'all, that's why I tell people all the time, my neighborhood, I think DB said it best. Our neighborhood was amazing, man. There was nothing like it. I don't think that there's kids who have the experience to be able to be out at night and play. And your mama can yell from the house and you will hear her. You
And,
will
and,
go
and,
home.
and you know what the beauty of that was? You wasn't being patrolled either. There was
Mm-mm.
no, you wasn't
There was
being
no police.
no,
I never saw
no,
police in our
no,
community.
no,
And we had
no,
no crime, no problems.
none of that.
I
No.
never saw police in our community. And that's
We
not
had
saying
our own one. We
that
had our
they,
own Wonder Years out there. We had our own Wonder Years out there for real. That was like
yeah, we did, man.
we had our
Wow.
own.
They
You didn't have
patrol.
to. You didn't have to go in the house to eat nothing. There's fruit everywhere,
Oh boy.
everywhere.
Off
What?
people's trees, plum trees,
Mhm.
pear trees, apple trees. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, but you know what, man? I could talk to you forever. You know what I mean? But you know, the show only allows me an hour. So before I go, I gotta ask you two questions again. All right. So the first question is, what are you doing to push the culture forward?
Man, educating the youth and trying my best to always uplift every person I interact with, especially if it's a young brother and they are just wanting to talk through it. Because a lot of times we don't talk. We don't talk to each other. We don't hug each other. We don't tell each other we love each other. And I promise you, you can ask any of my homeboys. I done told them I love. I done told you I love you. You know, I'm not. I am, man. I done lost friends, and not to no violence. I don't watch friends die because of health.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see your friend waste away, and he looked like his father looked before his father died, that
Right,
changed your whole perspective on things. You know, just
right.
if I love you, man, I love you, and even if I don't talk to you lately, still love you, man. You
Still love.
know,
You. That's right.
still love you, man. I ain't got no problem with nobody, bro.
Like me, I'm the same way, Ricky.
Yeah.
Hey, so the next question is, I need for you to name me three famous, important black people, but they can't be athletes or entertainers.
Important. Hmm. Well, that said a whole lot of people are important. Um, I will say I'm going to name Norris Wilson, who's an
Oh
important
man,
black man. See,
come on, man.
You didn't, no stipulations, and he runs this program, and I'm proud of him to see him push this. Also, another brother from the community, Maury Williams, who just retired from the military, stand up guy, juice, always been a stand up. And I'm gonna pull Jay Prince out, bro. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna pull Jay Prince out. Because I just got through reading his book. I just got through reading his book, The Art and Science of Respect. I bought a copy for me and for my daughter's fiance. Because I was like, start reading books with the brother, because that's gonna be my son. And if he was my son, we'd be reading books together, just like my daughter did with me. But one of the things that Jay Prince said was that he loved being a blessing to others, and to whom much is given, much is required. And that's the thing about it, bruh. That we keep on wanting to give, God's gonna keep on blessing us. And you don't even have to look for it. It's gonna happen. I cannot account for how many blessings has happened when I said, you know what, when I woke up that night at 3 o'clock in the morning and I was told to voluntarily resign and finish my doctorate, and I did not work for 6 months and didn't have to worry about any money, not because someone else took care of everything, but it was right there. I didn't even know I had the money, and it was right there. Didn't even have to look for it. That's what I'm saying. That trust and believe. And this is what Jay said that at the end of the book. He said, I've had a lot of people tell me what I am and what I'm not. He said, but I've always believed what God said I am. And so I don't have to worry about what anybody else thinks, because I'm just going to trust what he said. And that's what I'm going to do. So that was a good book. I recommend it to anybody. It definitely, he's the first. Don't get all caught up in what we got here. We got Cash Money, Rockefeller, all these other ones, man, rap a lot.
Yes.
86. 86.
Yeah. So it was Luke. Then rap.
Luke though.
I'm just saying independent black record labels. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. I'm not saying anything else.
You know what? See,
I'm saying independent black record label owners. Like Luke was the first.
Luke went before Jay Prince.
Yes, Luke was.
When? First of all, I'm having a hard time not imagining Luke playing in the party atmosphere that it inspired. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm going to Google that, bro. Because if it was before Rapper, I gotta look at that, because I know it was Luke Skywalker.
I want to say Luke was like 84, 85.
Wow. 2 Live Crew.
Yeah, and like 84, 85. Yeah, it had to be like 84, 85. Yeah.
I just hate you guys be thinking about Luke right now.
Yeah. So, but Jay Prince,
not supposed to be that type of interview.
Yeah, but then Jay Prince next, and then who was next? Puffy?
I would say either Master P. Yeah, Master P. I would say Master P. No Limit.
Before Puffy?
Yeah.
No, it can't be. No.
Let me think. I remember when About It, the soundtrack came out, because I went to DC with my homeboy Book, and I never really heard about it. And P had been out a few years before then. I was out of college, so that was about 96.
Nah, so Puffy was before him. Yeah, Puffy
before Master P.
Before Master P, because remember Master P, they made remember Biggie made the 10 Crack Commandments, and then Master P came and did it afterwards. So yeah, it was Puffy, Master P, then Cash Money.
I know that Cash Money was a result of P doing his thing in New Orleans. Because I'm thinking Bad Boy, because you got to think Puffy was at Uptown for a little bit, and then he came out with Big, and let me see, Ready to Die. Because see, I can track stuff by the years of my life, because I remember Outkast, when Outkast came out.
Okay, don't start at Ready to Die then. You got to start at Flavor in Your Ear with Craig Mack.
The Craig Mack remix.
Just the Craig Mack album. Craig Mack came out before Biggie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Project Punk the World had only one song on there I really listened to.
Yeah, it wasn't a good
Flavor in
rhyme.
your ear.
He could rhyme, but he could rhyme.
He could rhyme. He had a nice style.
He could
But
rhyme, but
a dude has said about Biggie, Shock G has said that Biggie was a flower, and that's why he would have you doing like this, and that's why you liked him because he'd make you kind of bop along to what he's doing like a jazz singer, whereas Pac was hitting you because he was not as smooth as Biggie, but Pac would hit you with some straight to the dome. Like that's why I said when you said people talk about what's in the neighborhood. One of my favorite artists right now is Mozzie.
Mozzie.
Oh boy. And he always has like almost like an R&B sound behind it, but it is gangster.
So it's just, you know what, right now though, for me, it's too many nice ones that I listen to. It's like a lot of nice ones that I listen to.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And they're
so
not all old school.
no, it's some new. It's so many of them that I don't even remember the name. Like it's just like, you know, when we was coming up, it was like only certain songs that we like. So we remember the artist's name. We remember
Mm-hmm.
the lyrics. We remember the lyrics to the song because there's only certain songs that we like. But now, if people actually took the time to listen and put their Pandora on and just let it shuffle, they will find some stuff.
There's some stuff out there, boy.
They
I
will
find
find
it.
some stuff. Like,
I'm still discovering people. That's why when somebody give me a new artist and I'm like, dude, you know, I'm buried in what I got right now, you know.
It's too much.
My brother still send me stuff and I'll send him something, but boy, I can tell you, I just love hip hop and I love the direction it's going in. I agree with you, it needs to be cleaned up, but don't take it away.
I don't think it needs to be cleaned up. I don't think the problem that is that hip hop needs to be cleaned up. No. What I'm saying is what you allow to be mass heard. That process needs to be cleaned up, right? Because like for me, it's like, okay, it's like HBO, right? Remember growing up, we wasn't allowed to watch no HBO.
After dark, nah.
No,
We didn't have cable.
we ain't getting that. So in a sense, our parents had it, but they censored it from us. It was censored from us.
It's easy to get
right?
now. Boy.
Right. And the same way with music. I had to sneak and listen to Red Fox or Eddie Murphy or, you know, or Dolomite. I couldn't just put that on the radio and play that. Like I couldn't do that. And so because I was being censored. Right. I'm not telling the rappers to stop writing about what they write, what you want to write. I mean, freedom of speech and expression, that's your right. Write it. Well, I am saying for the people who put it out to mass people, curtail it. Like, you know what I mean? Put some standard on it because you know it's influencing people. Right? Like, you know it's influencing people. There's science that tells you that it's. I remember maybe in early 92, this young white kid was out in California. I don't know if he was white or black, but this young kid was in California and the police was chasing him. And they stopped him and he shot the police. And when they caught him and arrested him, they asked him why he did it. And he said because he was listening to a Tupac record. Now you say now when people hear that, they scrunch up, they say no. But think about when you're not feeling good and that song come on and you your whole feeling change. Your whole way, you know, you upbeat, it changes your whole outlook, at least for as long as that song is on, right? Or you go to a club, why you never hear tear the club up? It ain't because of what they're saying, it's because of the way the music makes you feel. You know what I mean? Like it makes
you feel. That's fight music.
Fight exactly, right?
That's
so And this is a science. Doc, this is a science. They know what frequencies cause what, right? You know what I mean? Like they know these things, but they're allowing these things to be mastered. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not telling no one to stop doing what they're doing if they feel they're being creative. I'm not telling anyone of that. What I am saying is just like driver's license. You can't drive no car until you get 16. Right? You can't drive no car until you get 16. And they need to do something like that with the mass production, because everything is so accessible to these kids now. Like everything is accessible. And they know more than we knew at the ages of the teens. They know more than we knew back then, but they ain't as wise as we are, because all they have is information. They just got a lot of information, just berries of just mounds and mounds of just nothing but information. No practical working knowledge of that information, just a whole lot of information. That's it. And make that they make judgments on their life based on the information, not based on proving whether the information is right or wrong, but just based on the information. And when I see that, I try to tell people, I'm like, look, you ever heard the old saying, think twice? Think twice. Because for the most part, if you're about to do something stupid, if you think again, you ain't gonna do it. You know what I mean? If you're about to do something stupid, if you really thought again one more time, you ain't gonna do it. And when it comes to organizations like yourself, somebody needs to say, okay, like I know I'm gonna contact you, right? Like I know we're gonna do work. We already done.
Yeah, we've already talked about that one.
Right. I know we're gonna do work, but somebody needs to say, okay, this is where I am right now. I think I know what I'm doing, but let me go get proof. Let me call this brother and see what he can do.
And all it is a conversation.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
That's
man.
it. Sadate.
Sadate. Hey, Dr. Richard Lewis, it's been an honor and a pleasure, brother. It's been an honor and a pleasure. Tell T. I love him, man, and tell him I said what's up when you talk to him. Tell your daughter she next. You know what I mean? Like she up next. Mom Dukes, tell everybody I said hello. I love you, brother.
Love you too, bro. Thank you. Salute.
Thank you, bro. You know what we got to do? I'm 11 minutes over, but we got to do this.
I'm not counting your chips, but everybody else is. So you make 200, you make 200, you make 175, you make 150, you make 180. Why don't y'all have your own gym? Why we gotta go to UCLA to work out in LA every time? You got your own, y'all all come from the exact same community. You want to inspire kids that look like you. All it takes is 5 of them.
Okay, this part of the show is where I introduce you to the idea. And if you haven't heard about the idea, or this is your first time hearing about the idea is simple. It's just this simple. And here's the idea. You ready? The idea is I need for you to help me become the richest black man in America. That's the idea. That's the whole idea. That's the crest of it. There's nothing else, nothing more. That's just an idea. I need for you to help me become the richest black man in America. Now, before you jump to any hasty conclusion, there's one stipulation. Before you make a decision, I need for you to think about this, what I'm asking you to do to assist me in doing. I need for you to think about this for 3 minutes. And it doesn't have to be 3 minutes at the same time. It can be 30 seconds in the shower, 30 seconds walking to the refrigerator, a minute while you're driving to work, whatever. But just dedicate 3 minutes to thinking about what I'm asking you to do, which is help me become the richest black man in America. And you can do that by going to the URL at right over here, this URL right here. Or you can take a screenshot of this and then scan that barcode, and it'll take you to a link where you can donate. I'm not asking you a specific amount to donate. I'm just saying donate to the cause. But before you decide, just think about it. Why you should participate or why you shouldn't participate, that's up to you. You got to answer that yourself. I am just asking you to help me become the richest black man in America. You never know. You never know what can happen. But just think about it. And with that, I'm leaving you tonight, as I always do. In order for you to receive a blessing, you must first be a blessing. Peace.
Welcome to the Peachy King. Welcome to the Peachy King. Welcome to the Peachy King.
Oh wow, I just made a banger.
What's up, Gaffney, South Carolina? I'm coming to the Peachy King Bar and Lounge. You heard what I said. March the 18th, it all goes there with your boy Antoine Scott gonna be in the building. The Peachy King Bar, I like that name on left, but get in here. We finna go get it. Peachy King Bar and Lounge down in Gaffney, South Carolina. March the 18th. Showtime is at 9 p.m. Your boy is coming to town. What? Your boy is coming to town. Antoine Scott, listen, look at you. Peachy King Bar Lounge, y'all. Come on, let me see your face in this place. Come on out, Gaffney, South Carolina, boy. I can't wait to get there because I'm going to sit there and look at you.
And not to mention, if you are, a father or, you have a family come home to you, now you as the man, you have the pressures of trying to find a way to survive and provide for your family.
It's like 10 of every 12 boys that were sent to me had nothing wrong with them. The problem was they had never been taught. They had never.
I've completely separated myself from qualifying being in certain places because I'm Black. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, now's the time for Black people." So yes, you're gonna make it because you're Black. You know, your business is gonna make it because you're Black. Because everybody's.
But as a credit repair specialist, you have to educate them. Like, okay, I know that this is what you want, but let me tell you how to get to this goal. You have to set realistic goals, realistic time frames, to say, before I let you be a client, can you pay your bills on